Want to take your e-learning game to the next level with animation, but you're not ready to get into all that Adobe After Effects and all of those things? Well, in this video, we're going to talk all about the tool Vyond. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa, the CEO of Anchor Training, and on this channel, we help aspiring instructional designers and e-learning developers just like you get off of the sidelines and get into the L&D game. And today, again, we're talking all about Vyond. And I've been a customer of Vyond since it was Go Animate. So it's been quite a few years, and I really love how it's been able to add some engagement to our e-learning modules. It really has added a little extra something that certainly was missing with just static avatars on the screen. So I'm able to use Vyond in my e-learns through setting up for scenarios and scenario-based modules. I also use it as sometimes like a marketing tool if we're going to announce a training or something like that, an explainer video, and we actually have just used it to create a kind of like an internal marketing communication video for a client of ours who's launching into finally having a big training like department. They really didn't have training wasn't really, or onboarding wasn't too much of a thing. Every department kind of did their own. So they are starting to launch like a university at their organization, and they're starting off with like what the core values are at that organization. So we helped create and kind of an announcement for the organization to get them behind what the core values are and to get them excited about being able to talk more about that and embodying that throughout all of the different things at their organization, from performance to onboarding, recruitment, all the things. Anyway, so we used Vyond to create that, and it really is a tool that I think instructional designers and e-learning developers need to be familiar with. And if you're someone that wants to do the actual development, it's something that's good to have in your back pocket. Doesn't mean that you can't use some of the other tools. Like I've used Powtoons before, Doodly. I've done some of their free trials. I just always keep coming back to Vyond. For me, it was the easiest and quickest to learn. And it had a lot of different things. So another tool that I used was called My Simple Show, that creates whiteboard animations. What I love about that is that it is very easy to use. Anyone can pick it up. And it actually recommends, so you like upload your script and it'll recommend, like animations or, like imagery for your video to replace the words that are in your script or to represent them. And that's cool, but it's one style, it's whiteboard animation. The nice thing about Vyond is that you get 3 different styles. So you get the business, I think it's called business casual or something like that. You get the contemporary style that just came out just not that long ago. And then you have the traditional whiteboard animation. I will use a mix of all of them sometimes, depending on what the client's needs are. Not a mix of all of them in one video, of course, but I've used all of them. Just depends on what the project is. So for example, like whiteboard animation, I wouldn't use it for a very long video, but it's really great for things like an explainer video. So if you go on my website and you look at our portfolio, we have one, an explainer video that we created it was for a restaurant point of sale system. And it was like how you get internet into your router and stuff like that, which something I honestly never thought about. So I thought that was I actually learned a lot doing that explainer video, like just all the different pieces. But that's what I use a whiteboard animation. So I try to use those in a very specific manner. I have seen some really great ones. Vyond has some really great examples in their showcase library of whiteboard animation. And we've used it kind of mixed in with the business contemporary style with the client that I'm working with now. So you can kind of mix a couple of them together, like whiteboard with one of the others, just a different way to pop in information. The contemporary I really like. It's something that is very on trend for right now. And I think the style of where kind of graphic design is going, some of those like more organic type of styles and graphic design. So the contemporary is something that we're starting to see clients want more of. And then there's the traditional Vyond, something that is the tell of Vyond, and that is the business casual characters, like the cartoon characters. I will always know when someone uses a Vyond tool to create something when they use those characters. They have like the big eyes, and they kind of all have kind of similar looks. And it's just the Vyond tell. It's very traditional for them. And that is something that I will definitely say, it's a look, it's a style, and not all clients love it. So I have pitched it to a few different clients, and some love it because it's fun, it's engaging. You get away from that traditional stock character that you have in like storyline and things like that. Other clients hate it because they just think it, they're kind of a little bit more like, I don't want to call them uptight. I am calm! But they're a little bit more professional, say. The word is escaping me that I want to use right now. But they just want things a little bit more like business professional, which is totally fine. Every organization has their own style and what works best for them. And so we don't push any of these on others. Vyond is something, and this animation style is something that slowly kind of started building for a lot of my clients. When I started introducing it and, when I first started using it, some were like in for it. They're cool. They really liked using it. Others, it took them a minute to get into it, and now a lot of clients are starting to ask more of it. We're seeing a lot more of it. So I've even seen some Vyond videos used as ads for when I'm watching YouTube. So we're seeing them used more now, so they're becoming a little bit more standard. So for an instructional designer, I do think it's a really great tool to put in your tool belt. Do I think it is something that you need to run out of the gate? No. I think that you, as an aspiring e-learning developer, you're just getting started in your career, don't worry about all the things, right? All the tools that we all use to put together an e-learning module, right? You need to worry about the basics before you start leveling up. So don't worry about, okay, well, Vanessa uses Articulate Storyline and she uses Vyond. Well, she's having success in her business, or it appears, I am having success in my business, but you know what I mean? Like, she looks like she's being successful, she has clients and they like it, so I'm gonna go and do it. No, I didn't start there. I started by learning Camtasia, then Captivate, then Storyline. Doesn't mean that's the progression you need, but I started out by making sure I knew how to put an e-learning module together before I started thinking about, okay, what can I add now to like spice things up, make it more engaging and whatnot. And you have to also know your audience and the budget. Not every client is going to want to use an animation tool like Vyond. Not every client is going to have the budget that it's going to take in order to add in these videos or create these videos. Yes, I love Vyond for having their templates. I do find that it is easy to use. There are many of them, and you can string some, different scenes together, and it helps, kick you off, which I think a lot of us sometimes really need. We can't just look at a blank screen and be like, okay, this is what I want. I need something that's going to help, like, even if it's not going to be, if it's not going to look exactly the same as their, the template looked, at least it gets me starting to think, okay, like, these are the different elements I want to add in. This is how I want it to animate onto the screen. It's just that kickoff. It's just that starting point. And Vyond does a really great job of having those types of templates for you. I would not, if I were you, rush out to go buy a Vyond license, but definitely build up your expertise in e-learning, get comfortable with the tools, get a couple of those projects under your belt, and then as you have time to do some additional development and honing of your craft, start adding tools in like Vyond or Powtoons or Doodly, whatever you are most comfortable with. For me, I like that Vyond has 3 different distinct styles because I'm able to provide these different types of videos, or I'm able to put a couple of them together to make something that looks different. I love the library of characters, and I love that you can create your own. So they come with their own library, but then you could actually take the time to customize your characters. So I've created a few videos where the narrator looks like someone on the team. So it's like their head trainer at the organization. And I said, hey, do you want to be a character? And she said, sure, would love it. And she is the narrator, and she actually was the one that was doing the voiceover. So it really, people would say, like, that really does look like you. This is the cartoon version of you. It's just a way to personalize and make that module a little bit more personal and custom for your client. I've also made, so everyone knows my good friend that I still do work with, I created a module for her new project managers, and we created her as a character. Looks like her, she loves it. She feels like she's like a superhero or something, and she loves the end product, and she feels like when new employees are joining the team or new contractors, they kind of get to know her through this cartoon character. So it's a really great tool for you to use to personalize your content. It's an amazing learning tool. Like I said, the ability to pop in explainer videos, it just really takes things to the next level. It gives you the ability to not have bullets on the screen or static 2D images to represent a process. You're able to actually show how the process works together. Just adds a little bit of something, and it's not a full video, so you're able to actually take these little clips and put them in different sections of your module, and just elevates the quality that you have, that your module has. Doesn't mean it's like a full module development. It's just little scenes here and there that you can build in. So like, for example, when I'm doing training and I want to introduce, like, we're launching a new software system. It's really exciting. Here are the benefits. Well, instead of listing benefits on the screen, you can pop in a little Vyond video that talks through the benefits and has maybe a little bit of music and just gets people a little bit excited to start learning about this new tool and how it's going to help them do their job better. I have to also say I love Vyond for scenario-based training. I created something for that client where she was the customer service trainer, and we created her, and we used it for scenario training. So we would, have a scenario, we would actually talk through it, and you would see it happen on the screen. And then I would take that video, export it as an MP4, pull it into Storyline, and I had a couple of buttons. I think it was 2 buttons for their options for what to do next in this scenario. They clicked on the button, what they would do, and then it gave them feedback as to, their choice, right? And kind of the repercussions based on that choice that they made. So it just helps makes e-learning feel a little bit less from the 90s, and even though, let's not dog the 90s people, obviously. Skip it, to run, to jump, to hop. But it does make people feel a little bit less from the 90s and a little bit more contemporary. So as an instructional designer, it's something that you'll want to pick up at some point. Don't do it tomorrow if you're just trying to get your head around Articulate Storyline, but pull it into your toolkit at some point. There are some downfalls to Vyond. So personally, I find the price is very expensive. And as an up-and-coming instructional designer, you may not have the funds to pay for Vyond, every single month or for the year upfront. When you add in your cost for Storyline and for Vyond, it is a lot. I project for that based on the work that I know that is coming, the work that I do in the year, so it's all kind of wrapped in. But I know that when I first started out, it was hard to pay that much for Vyond. What I do like that Vyond did is they now have a monthly option where instead of buying, I think it's like $1,000 for a year or something like that. I might be totally off on that price, but whatever the price is for the year, instead of it just being that price, and that's the only option you have, you actually have a month-to-month option, kind of like Captivate subscription service. So you can opt in. So if you have a project that is going to need the ability to use Vyond, you can opt into it, and then you can turn it off once that project is over, so you're not being charged recurringly. But don't be like me and make sure that you actually go and turn off the subscription so you're not being charged for it if you don't actually need it. That is how I'm still paying for a lot of things. And every time I do my audit, I'm like, oh, right, I need to go and stop that subscription service. So that is an option. I do also think that there is a learning curve. It is animation, okay? You will need some time to pick up and play around with the tool. It is not going to be something, I almost think that storyline can almost be easier to pick up, depending on you as a developer and kind of, you know, what you are more naturally inclined and you know, kind of quicker to pick up things at. But as a designer, it might take you a little bit to pick it up. It wasn't like the first video that came out of me from Vyond was amazing. It was good enough. It was good. But it wasn't great, and I knew I could do better. And I have done better because you just practice more. I love looking at the library. I love seeing what other people do. I love talking with my colleagues, you know, and other instructional designers, and seeing their Vyond and learning their tips and tricks. I think that there is some time that you do need in order to pick it up. I think the assets that they have are great. You have, you know, plenty that you can choose from. You can import whatever assets that you need, including, you know, your own screenshots, your own images, your own pictures, your own like voiceover, obviously we need to do. You could import all of those things and really create something that is custom to your client. So all of that ability is there and great. So my final thoughts, I think, are pretty clear. As an up-and-coming instructional designer, do not hurry and pick up Vyond tomorrow. Learn the basics. If you want to just be someone that creates these, Vyond animations, I actually know, video animators that just do that, then great. Obviously, you need to go out and pick it up. But if you're an e-learning developer that's going to have things like Storyline in your toolkit, Camtasia, learn those first. Those are your baseline, and then add on top of that Vyond. But make sure that you do it. So, are you ready to take the next step in your learning and development career? Do you kind of miss having a tribe now that everyone's working kind of solo at home? Well, click the link in my bio to join my freelance learning and development network and share with us what you're doing, what you're learning, if you're picking up Vyond or if you're not. And don't forget that at any time you can post your portfolio and we'll give you some feedback on it. Friends, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.